A red light is supposed to be one of the easiest assignments in driving. Stop. That is the entire task. You pull up behind the car in front of you. You leave a reasonable amount of space. You press the brake. The car stops. Finished. Nobody is going anywhere until the light changes. Then the car in front of you moves forward 18 inches and stops again. The light is still red. Traffic has not started moving. Nothing has happened. But somehow your completed stop has been reopened for revision. At first, you ignore it. Fine. They moved forward a little. Maybe they stopped farther back than they wanted. Maybe they suddenly remembered that the pavement directly in front of them was available. You stay where you are. Now there is a slightly larger gap between you. Not a dangerous gap, not even an important gap. Just enough empty pavement that you become aware of it. And once you become aware of it, you have a decision to make. Do you move too? You do not need to. The light is red. Your car is stopped. You are still a perfectly functional participant in traffic. But if you do not move, the gap remains. And apparently the gap is now your responsibility. So you release the brake slightly. Roll forward. Stop again. Excellent. Everyone has advanced 18 inches toward a destination they are still legally prohibited from reaching. This would be harmless if it happened once. But some drivers are not satisfied with one adjustment. They inch forward. Stop. 8 seconds pass. They inch forward again. Stop. Another 10 seconds. Another small movement. Now you understand what kind of red light this is going to be. You are behind an incher. This changes the entire waiting experience. Before, you were waiting for the traffic signal. Now, you are waiting for their brake lights. You cannot fully settle into the stop because the car ahead may move again at any arbitrary moment. Maybe now. Maybe 11 seconds from now. Maybe immediately after you finally decide they are finished. The red light has outsourced its authority to a stranger in a crossover. And every time they move, you have to make the same decision again. Do I follow this one? Maybe you skip it. The gap grows slightly. Then they move again. Now the gap is larger. You could still stay where you are. There is no law requiring you to consume every available inch of pavement. But after several rounds, the spacing starts to become noticeable. The car ahead has advanced 4 times. You have advanced 0. There is now enough room between you to establish a small patio. And somehow you look like the person doing something unusual. The person ahead caused the gap one unnecessary movement at a time. But they have moved on emotionally. You are the one sitting 20 feet back from them looking as though you forgot there was traffic in front of you. So, eventually, you surrender. You release the brake and perform one larger catch-up movement. Now, you have traveled 8 feet. Still at the red light. Still stopped behind the same car. Still going nowhere. Except now, from the perspective of everyone behind you, you are the person who suddenly woke up. This is how the behavior spreads. The first car inches forward. The second car follows. Then the third. Then the fourth. Eventually, an entire line of vehicles moves 3 feet closer to the intersection. Nobody has crossed the intersection. Nobody has improved their travel time. No new lane has opened. 10 vehicles have simply participated in a coordinated migration toward the same red light. It is movement without transportation. The most irritating part is not even the movement itself. It is the vigilance. A red light should be a temporary pause in which one major question has already been answered. Are we moving? No. You can keep your foot on the brake and wait for new information. Green would be new information. A turn arrow would be new information. Traffic ahead clearing would be new information. The car in front rolling forward 14 inches because apparently they were uncomfortable with the previous 14 inches of pavement is not useful information. But your brain still reacts to it. The vehicle ahead moves. For a fraction of a second you think, oh, we're going. Your foot prepares to move. Your attention sharpens. Then you look at the signal. Still red. They have simply advanced toward the same prohibition. This is one of the problems with repeated inching. A car moving forward at a stoplight is normally evidence that something has changed. These people have removed that reliability. Now, movement means nothing. You are receiving false traffic alerts from a Honda. There are reasonable explanations for moving once. Maybe someone stopped unusually far from the line and wants to correct it? Fine. Maybe there is a sensor and they genuinely need to move closer. Fine. Maybe traffic ahead shifted and a meaningful amount of space opened. Also fine. The problem is not correcting your stopping position. The problem is turning one stop into 6 smaller stops. At some point, this is no longer an adjustment. It is a subscription. Every 12 seconds, another installment. 3 feet now, 2 feet later, 18 inches after that. By the time the light actually changes, the car has spent the entire red light slowly purchasing the remaining asphalt, and everyone behind them has been invited to participate. You can, of course, refuse. You can simply remain stopped until there is a meaningful reason to move. This is probably the rational response. But it requires becoming comfortable with the expanding gap. The incher moves. You stay. They move again. You stay. Now there is a full car length in front of you. Someone behind you begins wondering what you are doing. You can almost feel the judgment through the windshield. Why isn't this person moving up? Because the light is red. That explanation is completely correct. It also somehow does not solve the social problem. This is why inching is so effective. Each individual movement is too small to complain about. Nobody is harmed, nobody is delayed. But the person ahead has turned passive waiting into active spacing management. You were prepared to monitor one thing: the light. Now you are monitoring the light, their brake lights, the growing gap, and whether enough pointless movement has accumulated to justify your own pointless movement. A reasonable stoplight policy would be simple. Pull up. Leave a sensible amount of space. Stop. If you genuinely misjudged your position, correct it once. Then remain stopped until something relevant changes. Do not spend the next 90 seconds consuming the intersection approach in installments. If the light is still red, you are allowed to remain exactly where you are. The charge: repeatedly inching forward at a red light for no apparent reason and forcing every driver behind you to decide whether to participate. The defense: I'm just moving up a little. The verdict: technically harmless, administratively exhausting. The light is still red, nobody is going anywhere. And somehow the entire line has moved 12 feet.